Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. The salt that whispered to the universe. Have you ever stood at the edge of despair, wondering if the people who hurt you would ever feel remorse, or if the money you lent would ever return to you? There was once an elderly woman named Mei Ling, living in a quiet corner of the mountains in Sichuan. She had lent her life savings to her brother, who vanished without a word. Her neighbors whispered that karma would find him one day, but Mei Ling didn't wait. Instead, she opened a small wooden box, took out a bowl, a handful of salt, and a silver coin she had worn around her neck for decades. She lit incense, closed her eyes, and began to chant. 7 days later, her brother returned. Weeping. He had lost everything and wanted to make amends. Not just with money, but with his heart. Coincidence? Maybe, but what if it wasn't? Today, I invite you to explore a forgotten secret. A ritual so simple, yet so powerful, that it's been passed down in silence, hidden in temples, whispered among sages, and embedded in the daily habits of those who seem to have endless luck and peace. It begins not with gold or gemstones, but with salt. Yes, ordinary, humble salt. The very substance that lives in our oceans, our blood, and even in our tears. Salt, in its purest form, holds a frequency that transcends the physical. In Buddhist, Taoist, and folk spiritual traditions across the world, salt is not just a mineral, it is a messenger. A spiritual purifier. A karmic reset. But here's the catch. Right pointing finger. Most people use it wrong. Right pointing finger, and when they do, the result is not cleansing, but chaos. In this video, you will not only learn the exact ritual, passed down by ancient lineages, you will also understand why it works, and how to amplify its power so deeply that your debts dissolve, your enemies come to peace, and your life opens like a lotus in spring. This is not magic. This is energy mastery. And the universe is listening. So take a deep breath. Ground yourself. Because by the end of this journey, you won't just be holding salt. You'll be holding a new destiny. Sparkles, what you cannot change outside, you must first transform within. Welcome to Wisdom of the Dharma. Part 1. The Forgotten Power of Salt. More than just a seasoning, salt is a spiritual force. Salt. It sits quietly in every kitchen, on every dining table, and inside every tear. We barely notice it, until we don't have it. But to the wise, salt is no ordinary substance. It is sacred. It is subtle. It is one of the rare materials in nature that transcends all three realms of being, body, mind, and spirit. In ancient Buddhist texts, salt was often used in cleansing rituals, before entering temples, not for hygiene, but for energetic purification. In Taoist alchemy, salt represented the balance of yin and yang, absorbing chaos and stabilizing qi. And in traditional Chinese homes, a bowl of salt placed near the doorway wasn't just an old wives' tale. It was spiritual armor. But why? Salt has a unique molecular structure, sharp, crystalline, stable. These qualities give it an exceptional ability to absorb and transform energy. Just as salt draws out moisture from food, it also pulls in energetic stagnation, cleansing a space, a person, or even an intention. A Buddhist perspective, salt is a symbol of inner clarity. In the teachings of Zen Master Dogen, clarity was not something one added to the mind, it was what remained when all impurities were removed. Salt, too, does not sweeten the pot. It purifies it. When you sprinkle salt with awareness, you're not casting a spell. You're reminding the universe of your readiness to let go. Let go of debts. Let go of resentment. Let go of the invisible forces that bind your spirit to cycles of lack and conflict. Across cultures, salt is a global sacred element. In Japan, sumo wrestlers throw salt onto the ring before a match, not as showmanship, but to banish spirits of defeat and fear. In Europe, spilling salt was considered a bad omen, but if you tossed it over your shoulder, you reversed the curse. In India, Mahatma Gandhi's Salt March was not just political. It was spiritual resistance, a reclaiming of divine right over a sacred resource. Even in African tribal customs, salt is used to call in ancestors and invite blessings before a ritual feast. Across the world, across centuries, salt remains the unspoken language of protection. Scientific meets spiritual, salt and the human psyche. Modern neuroscience confirms what the ancients knew intuitively: humans are energy fields. We emit frequency. We respond to vibration. And salt, simple sodium chloride, can alter that field. In experiments, salt has shown the ability to reduce EMF, electromagnetic frequency, sensitivity, stabilize brain waves, and even calm the nervous system. But more than that, it holds memory. Salt remembers negativity and pulls it in, like a sponge absorbing spiritual dust. That's why monks use it to cleanse mala beads, why priests use it to bless water, and why shamans call it the white stone of purification. But there's a catch: salt doesn't work for everyone. Here's the truth they don't tell you. Salt is powerful, but only when you are present. If you scatter salt while distracted or angry, it simply becomes more matter in your home. But if you pour it with full intention, like pouring tea during a meditation, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a prayer in crystal form. A message to the universe: I am ready to release. I am ready to receive. Salt is not just a mineral. It is the earth's way of giving you a second chance. In the next section, we will dive into the spiritual science of energy blocks, why some people are constantly repaid, forgiven, and uplifted, while others stay stuck in loops of debt, blame, and bitterness, and how salt, used correctly, can help break that karmic cycle. Stay with me. Part 2. How energy blocks destroy our lives. The invisible chains we carry without knowing. Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, how much effort you give, how many books you read, or how many prayers you chant, your life refuses to move forward? It's as if something unseen is holding you back, like a karmic anchor buried in your soul. You pay off one debt, and another appears. You forgive one enemy, and two more arise. You try to rise, but something drags you down, again and again. That something has a name. It is called an energy block. What is an energy block? In Buddhist psychology, these are known as samskaras, deep impressions left on the mind by past thoughts, words, and actions. Think of them like emotional fingerprints left behind by pain, guilt, betrayal, or resentment. Over time, if not purified, these impressions begin to crystallize, not in your bones, but in your energy field. You may not see them, but your karma does, and the universe responds accordingly. The cycle of blocked energy. When your energy field is polluted, people owe you, but never pay. You do good, but don't receive goodness in return. You meet opportunity, but it slips through like water through fingers. These blocks form like spiritual clogs in a pipe. No matter how much water, luck, love, money, tries to flow, it gets stuck. And eventually, the pressure either bursts, or dries you out. So how do we unclog it? The Dharma of debts and enemies. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. This also applies to energetic debts. Sometimes, the debt you're owed is not just financial. It's karmic. You helped someone once, but they betrayed you. You gave trust, and they broke it. And now, your mind replays the offense like a scratched record. Over and over. The longer that memory festers, the more cords you unconsciously create. These cords bind your energy to the offender. And ironically, while you wait for repayment or apology, it's you who remains stuck. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's spiritual hygiene. And cleansing is not about forgetting. It's about cutting the cord, so your soul can breathe again. A true story, the debt that wouldn't die. Let me tell you about Arjun, a tailor from Malaysia. Years ago, he loaned a large sum of money to a friend who promised to pay back in 3 months. 5 years passed. No word. No money. Arjun tried legal action, spiritual retreats, even burning sage in every corner of his home. Nothing changed. One day, a monk gave him a small paper packet. Inside was salt. The monk told him, "You've been holding the debt in your mind. Let the salt hold it for you instead." That night, Arjun placed the salt in a silver bowl, added a coin his grandfather had given him, and whispered, "May all that was owed be returned. May I be free." Within a week, he received a message. The debtor had fallen ill, deeply remorseful, and wanted to return the money, even if in installments. Arjun smiled, not because the money was coming back, but because his energetic door had opened. Why enemies keep coming back? Sometimes, it's not just debts. It's conflict that keeps following you, like a karmic echo. Have you ever noticed that no matter where you work, you always end up with a toxic boss? Or every romantic partner somehow betrays you the same way? It's not your fault. But it is your pattern. And patterns are made of energy residues. The salt ritual you're about to learn doesn't just erase these residues, it dissolves the pattern itself. So you stop attracting the same pain, wearing different faces. Emotional clutter equals spiritual poverty. Energetic blocks aren't always big traumas. Sometimes, they are quiet, almost invisible. A resentment you tucked away. A grudge disguised as pride. A secret sorrow you told no one about. These are like emotional dust. And like dust, if you don't sweep often, they gather. They thicken. They choke the light. And your life begins to feel stale. But here's the truth. The universe is not punishing you. It's simply responding to what you haven't yet cleared. The cleansing begins now. In a few moments, I will guide you through a ritual that has helped thousands reclaim peace, restore flow, and reopen channels of prosperity and forgiveness. But before that, you must remember one thing. Salt doesn't fix the world. It simply clears the mirror so you can see more clearly. In part 3, we will begin the sacred salt ritual, step by step, with spiritual precision, energetic awareness, and deep reverence. You'll learn how to choose your salt with intention, anchor your energy with a personal object, align the ritual with the natural rhythms of the day, and most importantly, call in transformation from a place of stillness, not desperation. We are just beginning. Let us continue, together. Part 3, the Sacred Salt Ritual. A ceremony of release, realignment, and return. You are now ready to begin, but let us be clear, this is not a trick. It's not superstition. It is not superstition. This is a ritual of presence, of remembrance, of reclaiming what your soul already knows, but your mind may have forgotten. Step 1. Prepare your elements with intention. This is not about grabbing any salt from your kitchen and throwing it around the room. This is about approaching salt the way a monk approaches the altar, with reverence. Choose your salt wisely. Sea salt, born of evaporation, kissed by sunlight, and carrying the memory of oceans. Use this for purification and fresh beginnings. Rock salt, forged deep in the belly of the earth, over millions of years. Use this for grounding, protection, and ancestral connection. Refined table salt may be used in emergencies, but its spiritual potency is often diminished by additives and industrial processing. When in doubt, choose the purest form. Now, select a bowl. This bowl is not a container, it is a vessel. A symbolic womb. A mirror of your energy field. If possible, use a bowl made of ceramic, glass, or wood. Clean it thoroughly, not just with water, but with mindfulness. If available, use a bowl with sacred symbols, lotus flowers for awakening, dragons for spiritual power, or even the endless knot for karmic balance. Step 2. Anchor the ritual with a personal object. Choose one small item you carry with you often. It can be a key, a ring, a coin, or even a simple piece of jewelry. This object has absorbed your daily vibrations. It has witnessed your joys and your struggles. It carries your energetic fingerprint. We will now use it as a bridge between the outer ritual and your inner transformation. Place it gently inside the bowl, beside or partially under the salt. Do this slowly. Do this as if placing a prayer inside a temple. Step 3. Align with time. Choose your portal wisely. Rituals done in chaotic time lead to chaotic results. There are 2 sacred times best suited for this practice. Early morning, before sunrise. The world is still. Your mind is quiet. The veil between dimensions is thin. This is the time of rebirth. Perfect for calling in a new chapter, especially if your life has felt heavy or directionless. Late night, after 10 p.m. The day has settled. The energy around you is cooling. You're able to release, to surrender. This is the time of clearing, perfect for cutting old cords, forgiving enemies, and releasing debts, both financial and emotional. Choose one of these windows when your heart feels ready. If not today, then tomorrow, but never rush. Step 4. Enter the stillness, the breath and the body. Sit comfortably. Not like a student, but like a sage. Spine tall, but not stiff. Shoulders relaxed. Hands resting on your lap, or over the salt bowl if you feel drawn. Now close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the mouth, long, slow, complete. Repeat. Inhale, feel yourself drawing in the light of forgiveness, clarity, and strength. Exhale, let go of the names, the faces, the memories that haunt you. Do this for 7 breaths. No more, no less. With each breath, imagine a layer of dust lifting off your spirit. With each exhale, you are no longer the version of you that held pain. You are entering ritual space. Step 5. The visualization. Rewrite your story. While your breath flows, bring these images to mind. Not from the head, but from the heart. Visualize your debts dissolving, like ink fading in water. Bills turning blank. Emails of repayment arriving. The weight finally lifting. Picture your enemies softening, faces once cruel now softened with apology. Not because you need revenge, but because you're ready to be free. See yourself standing at a gate made of light. On one side is the past. On the other is your future. Now, step forward. You are no longer a victim. You are a conscious co-creator. Step 6. Activate the ritual, sprinkle and speak. Now, slowly, sprinkle a small pinch of salt over your personal object in the bowl. As you do, say this aloud or silently in your heart. Candle, may the essence of earth and sea cleanse this vessel. May my path be cleared. My debts released. My enemies forgiven. My soul aligned. Repeat this 3 times. After each, pause. Listen not with your ears, but with your inner sense. Do you feel the shift? The air may feel lighter. Your body may tingle. This is not imagination. This is energetic movement. Step 7. And in silence, seal the ritual. After the 3rd recitation, simply be. No phone. No talking. Just sit in stillness for 3 to 5 minutes. Let the salt work. Let the space settle. When you feel complete, bow your head, not to the salt, but to your own inner power that remembered this ancient wisdom. The ritual is done. In part 4, I will share with you powerful true stories of people who performed this ritual and witnessed profound transformation. From lost money returned, to unexpected apologies, to karmic ties finally broken. Let their stories awaken your faith. Because your story may be next. Part 4. Real-life case studies. When salt becomes the key to karmic liberation. Words are powerful, but stories transform. And throughout the years, those who have opened their hearts to this salt ritual have seen their lives change in ways they could never have predicted. These are not fairy tales. They are quiet revolutions. Moments when something invisible shifted, and the visible world followed. 1. The widow in the debt of grief. Location, Chiang Mai, Thailand. Name, Sopa, 62 years old. Sopa had lost her husband 5 years prior. Not just to death, but to betrayal. On his deathbed, he revealed that he had secretly mortgaged their home to cover a failed business venture. When the bank came knocking, she was left with nothing but sorrow and shame. Sopa tried everything, temple offerings, monk blessings, even legal action against his former partners, but her finances never recovered. She lived off minimal pension and carried not only grief, but bitterness. One morning, while sweeping the front step of her tiny house, she overheard a temple chant broadcasted on the radio about cleansing old karma with salt. Something clicked. That afternoon, she prepared a small ceramic bowl, placed her wedding ring inside, and sprinkled sea salt over it. She performed the ritual for 7 consecutive mornings, always before sunrise. With each session, she whispered not just prayers for money, but forgiveness for the man who had left her in debt. On the 8th day, she received a call from her late husband's estranged brother. "I owe you. My brother confessed everything to me before he passed," he said. "I've been running from this, but I'm ready to make it right." He paid off her remaining mortgage. But more than money, her heart was finally light. The debt she released was not in numbers. It was in emotions. 2. The shopkeeper whose customers came back. Location, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Name, Han, 43 years old. Han owned a small clothing boutique that once bustled with energy. Then suddenly, business dried up. Competitors opened nearby. Loyal customers vanished. Even online orders stopped. "I felt cursed," she said. "Like my store became invisible." She cleaned. She prayed. She tried advertising. Nothing worked. A Buddhist Feng Shui master walked in one afternoon. He browsed a scarf, then asked, "Have you cleansed your space with salt?" That night, Han stayed late. She followed the sacred salt ritual to the letter, placing her store's ledger book in the bowl, symbolizing her business energy. She visualized open doors, happy customers, and flowing cash. In 3 days, an old customer returned with a large order. By the end of the month, her sales had doubled. She now keeps a small salt bowl with a mirror and bay leaf behind her cash register, refreshed every 2 weeks. She calls it her quiet partner in business. 3. The daughter who was never forgiven, until she let go. Location, Los Angeles, USA. Name, Alina, 29 years old. Alina had been estranged from her mother for over a decade. A bitter argument about family inheritance had torn them apart. Letters were returned unopened. Calls went unanswered. And guilt festered inside her like a quiet cancer. Alina came across the salt ritual on a spiritual YouTube channel. At first, she laughed. Sprinkling salt can't fix a mother wound, she thought, but something inside nudged her to try. She used Himalayan rock salt, placed it in a lotus-shaped bowl beside a jade pendant her mother gave her as a child. Each night for a week, she sat, breathed, sprinkled, and whispered, "I forgive you. I ask for forgiveness. May the karma be cleansed." On the 7th day, she opened her email and froze. There it was. A message from her mother. Just 3 words. "Can we talk? Today, they speak every Sunday. Not all wounds are gone, but they are healing." And it began with salt. 4. The silent debtor who paid in full. Location, New Delhi, India. Name, Ramesh, 51 years old. Ramesh had loaned 300,000 rupees to a former business associate during a family crisis. It was supposed to be repaid in 90 days. 3 years passed. No repayment. No apology. Ramesh gave up hope, but a monk in Varanasi offered him an odd prescription. Stop holding the debt in your chest. Let the salt carry it. That night, Ramesh chose midnight. He used sea salt and his wristwatch, symbolizing time lost, trust lost. His affirmation was simple. I release this debt from my soul. If it returns, let it come with grace. If not, let me live free. 12 days later, he received a bank transfer of the full amount. No explanation. Just a message, "Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry." Ramesh cried, not because of the money, but because he finally felt peace. Every story is a mirror. These stories are not just testimonies. They are reflections of what becomes possible when belief and action align. Salt didn't change the world. Salt helped these people change their relationship to the world. They let go. They forgave. They invited energy to move again. And so can you. In part 5, we will unlock the deeper power hidden in a humble leaf, the bay leaf. Paired with salt, it becomes a spiritual shield that not only clears the past, but actively repels negativity and draws in protection and wealth. You've seen what salt can do. Now, let's amplify its power. Shall we continue? Part 5, Bay Leaves, the Secret Weapon. From ancient victory to modern protection. Salt is a purifier, but when paired with the right element, it becomes a force field. That element is the bay leaf. So simple, so ordinary. Yet across empires and civilizations, this humble leaf has been revered as a symbol of victory, divine favor, and energetic strength. From laurel crowns to spiritual shields. In ancient Greece and Rome, champions were not given gold. They were crowned with laurel leaves, another name for bay leaves. Poets, warriors, prophets, even emperors wore them during moments of power. Why? Because bay leaves represented divine vision, protection from misfortune, and triumph over the unseen. The Oracle of Delphi, one of the most sacred seers in human history, chewed bay leaves before entering trance, allowing her to receive messages from the divine. In Buddhist and Taoist homes across Asia, bay leaves were burned to clear karma, or written on with red ink to seal intentions. And even today, in folk rituals from India to Brazil, bay leaves are used to protect newborns, cleanse spaces, attract unexpected money, repel envy and psychic attack. The elemental alchemy, salt plus bay equals earth plus fire. Salt is earth, absorbing negativity, anchoring chi, stabilizing vibration. Bay leaf is fire, burning away illusions, repelling darkness, igniting intention. Together, they form a sacred polarity. A spiritual yin-yang that doesn't just cleanse. It guards. Think of it this way. Salt clears the room. Bay leaf locks the door after. Preparing your bay leaf ritual. You do not need many leaves. 1 or 2, chosen with care, is enough. Step 1. Selection. Use dried bay leaves, whole and untorn. Preferably collected or purchased on auspicious days, new moon, full moon, or Mondays/Sundays. Avoid leaves that are cracked, burned, or faded, they carry weaker chi. Step 2. Charge with intention. Before placing the leaves, write your intention directly onto each one. Use a pen or marker, ideally red or gold. Some examples. Wealth flows to me. I am protected from harm. Only love enters my home. All old karma is cleared. When you write, do it slowly. Whisper the words. Let your fingers transmit belief into the leaf. This is not ink. This is energy coding. Step 3. Placement. Place the inscribed leaves next to the salt bowl in each room corner, especially near entrances, windows, or bedrooms, facing outward, symbolizing repelling danger and opening pathways. To maximize power, you may pair them with a small mirror, reflects energy away. A candle, activates intention with the fire element. Let them sit for 1 full week. During this time, do not disturb them. Allow them to listen to the room, absorb and respond. Step 4. Burn to seal the cycle. After 7 days, it is time to complete the cycle. Do not throw the leaves away. Instead, take them to a safe, quiet space. Light them, gently, with reverence. As they burn, repeat aloud. I seal this energy with flame. All that does not serve is released. May light, love, and luck remain. Watch the smoke rise. Feel it carry away what no longer belongs in your life. This is not destruction. This is liberation. Step 5. Return to earth. Once the leaves have burned to ash, do not keep the remains indoors. You may scatter the ashes at your front doorstep. Place them under a tree in your garden. Let them flow into a river or stream. Why? Because ashes, like salt, hold memory. And memory must move to be freed. By returning the remnants to nature, you return energy to its source. Maintain the cycle. Repeat this process every 7 to 10 days. During periods of stress, illness, or conflict. After arguments, major decisions, or business losses. Each time you do, you reinforce a spiritual firewall. Not to isolate yourself, but to clear a space for grace. Salt clears. Bay protects. You command. You are not just a participant in this ritual. You are the conductor. With salt and bay, you're not begging the universe for change. You are declaring, I am aligned. I am protected. I am ready. This is not superstition. This is energetic hygiene. Just like brushing your teeth, it must be regular, conscious, and done with love. When your home is cleansed, your heart finds stillness. When your heart is still, your karma flows freely. Part 6. Energetic housekeeping. When your home becomes a temple of flow. Cleansing energy once is powerful, but maintaining that energy? That's where true transformation lies. Think of your home like a spiritual ecosystem. Just as dust collects on furniture, energetic dust gathers in corners, under beds, and around places of emotional weight. That's why regular energetic housekeeping is essential, not just when things go wrong, but as a rhythm of life. Simple rituals to keep energy fresh. Sprinkle dry salt in the 4 corners of each room, especially near entrances and windows. Leave for 48 hours, then sweep it up and dispose outside, not down the drain. Place a small bowl of salt at the main doorway with a bay leaf and mirror facing outward. This acts like a guardian, filtering what enters. When mopping floors, add a pinch of sea salt to warm water. Start from the furthest corner, and move toward the front door, as if guiding stagnant chi out of the house. After any conflict, illness, or heavy conversation, light incense or diffuse essential oils while gently clapping through the rooms. Sound clears what silence conceals. A mindful home reflects a mindful heart. Your space is not just where you live. It's where your karma breathes. When your environment is clean, energetically and physically, you'll notice better sleep, fewer arguments, smoother workflow, increased focus and peace. This is not just Feng Shui. It's a form of compassion for yourself, your family, and your future. Make your home your first altar, and you'll no longer need to chase peace outside. A well-tended space is a mirror of a well-tended soul. Part 7. Conclusion. More than a ritual, it's a way of life. Salt, belief, and the true power within you. So now you know the ritual. You've heard the stories. You've learned how salt purifies, how bay leaves protect, and how energy flows where attention goes. But here's the final truth. No amount of salt can cleanse a space that is filled with doubt. No bay leaf can protect a heart that refuses to open. The ritual is powerful, yes, but only when you bring your presence to it. Only when you're willing to sit with your pain, release your anger, and let the universe meet you halfway. You see, these ingredients, salt, bay leaves, fire, water, they are not magic. You are. The ritual only works because you choose to believe again. Because you're brave enough to forgive. To let go of resentment. To stop chasing revenge. And start reclaiming peace. This is just the beginning. Every time you sprinkle salt in a corner, write an intention on a bay leaf, or cleanse your home with sacred silence, you're not just cleaning. You are rewiring your karma. You are stepping out of loops. You are shaping a life where peace becomes your default, not your reward. So begin today. Clean a corner. Light a candle. Whisper an intention. Even if it's small, it echoes across lifetimes. Final affirmation. Say this with me, or write it in the comments to declare it to the universe. I release all energetic debts. I forgive what was. I welcome abundance, clarity, and peace. I am protected. I am free. I am ready. If this teaching spoke to your soul, share it with someone you love, because many carry burdens they can't explain, and maybe this is the practice they've been waiting for. And if you wish to go deeper into the Dharma of energy, karma, and sacred living, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma. Because when you change the energy around you, you change your destiny.